Now, before we start your reading, we're going to take a look at your oracle cards. And Gemini, I have to say, you're pulling two of my favorite cards here. So from Lay Vampire, you pulled Ancient, Ancestry, Egypt, and Magical Inheritance. And then from Chakra Wisdom, you pulled Gratitude. Now, Ancient from Lay Vampire very much reminds me of the saying, know thyself. And for a lot of us, knowing ourselves comes through our family history. This card is talking about how family connections lead you to a greater knowledge of yourself. And then there's also the suggestion here about tapping into ancestral energy because it has a lot to offer you right now. And then when you look at that with gratitude, gratitude is something that I preach in my house all the time. It is so important to be grateful for everything, the good experiences, the bad experiences, the little things. It shifts your vibration and it brings in support and such beautiful things into your life. And when you look at that with Ancient, this is really talking about being grateful for the family connections and the wisdom that may have been passed down to you by your ancestors. All right, Gemini, here we go. Here's the energy coming through. Nice, nice. Justice. So justice is about weighing out the options or weighing out decisions. There's a need for fairness and balance in here. Now, justice being the card of Libra really talks about having fairness and balance within relationships because of Libra ruling the 7th house. But when I look at this card, automatically I think of somebody weighing something out and making a final decision, but needing some fairness and some balance. Now, in the past, and that might be why. The Page of Swords, for me, has always been the messenger of conflict. When you look at this card in terms of, the energy that's surrounding you, and the positive, it's about being able to deal with difficult situations with intelligence and grace. These are the things that you don't want to hear. These are the documents that you don't want to sign or you don't want to deal with. It's the conflict. And, looking at that with justice is saying that whatever has happened in the past that may have caused some hardship for you is going to be balanced out. This could be people gossiping about you. There may be some lies and some deception here. I'm feeling like people in the past have been causing you problems. And now there is a need for some fairness and balance. In the present, the Two of Wands. So, the Two of Wands, for me, it always went back to the Magician because this is where you start making the plans to take action, right? And there is that period of waiting here, but what I like about the Two of Wands, especially the way this card is painted, you hold your own world in your hands. What are you going to do with it now? There's a need here to start making some decisions to start taking action towards the things that you are wanting to create. So looking at it, dealing with difficulties in the past, whether it's people talking shit about you or having to deal with difficult situations or miscommunications, whatever that page is representing here, now there's going to be some fairness and some balance, but it's going to be through your own actions. And it's like you're looking at the present moment and what actions do I need to start taking here and to get this fairness and balance. Oh, future conditions. So the Queen of Cups. Now, I'm kind of hesitant here. I want to see what else unfolds before, I start passing any judgments on this Queen. Seeing her in future conditions can definitely suggest a water sign coming through. And there's two ways for me to look at this if this is a person that you're dealing with. The Queen of Cups is emotionally intuitive. This is somebody who is sympathetic to the emotions of others. This could be somebody who is leading you and helping you to get to a spot where, things from the past start to get amended. Or this could be you know, the person that you're making decisions about. You know, they could have been not so nice. You know, I hate seeing the Queen of Cups in reverse. But with the Page of Swords, I'm wondering what her connection to the past is. And I'm looking at that Page of Swords going, what were you saying? And what were you doing that is now causing this justice to be here? Now, in terms of the energy that's surrounding you, this could definitely suggest you going from a period of conflict and going into being more, you know, emotionally intuitive about situations that are going on. Thinking less and feeling a little bit more. But we shall see what is going on with this Queen. Oh, beautiful. Beautiful, Gemini. That's beautiful. The sun is your best path to follow. This is Spirit's advice to you. This is basically saying that no matter what happens here, you're going to be just fine. Everything's going to be just fine. When I see the sun, I feel like stepping back into the light. Having that sunshine come down upon you and making you feel energetic and youthful. And there's protection here, you know? And I also get the sense of like healing and happiness. It's not the star, but damn it, the sun is a star. So, and seeing that underneath justice is saying that I think that no matter what decisions you make in regards to the difficulties that you dealt with the past, if it has to do with a person, you're going to be okay and you're going to do the right thing with justice being there. But the sun is going to outshine anything negative happening here. You may have dealt with some difficulties, and I think it has to do with people talking shit. That's what I'm seeing in this. Whatever those situations and those difficulties are involving people, it's okay now. You're taking the right steps to get to a point where, you know, you have that balance in your life. And the sun is saying that no matter what happens here, you're going to be just fine. I love it. Shit, Gemini. That's great. Strength. Now, here's the thing with strength. This, you know, is tapping into your inner strength, but the grace seems to be the thing here because, you know, being able to deal with things with grace, right? Strength is like not being forceful. There's patience here as well, but having the strength to deal with the difficulties that you face and doing it with grace. The sun and strength. That's really nice to see. I'm looking at this, and I think for some of you, if you're dealing with people who like to run their mouths, you get to a point where you decide that you're done with that, and there are more important things in your life that need to be looked at, rather than, you know, being stuck in these cycles of like gossip and bitching and lying and, you know. But I'm still wondering where this Queen is coming in. And I'm waiting to see, you know, how she lines up with your outcome, but I feel like she has a connection to the past. Oh, well now. Your hopes and your fears. This, in terms of you, goes back to what I was saying before about this being somebody who is like maybe helping to guide you into a point where you start to see that fairness and balance. Because you're hoping to be wise with your own emotions, you know, and strength. It's patience with the emotional difficulties that you might be facing surrounding this situation. I get the sense here that whatever has happened in the past with people and the communications with people, it's something that you didn't want to happen. It, you know, like your intention wasn't to get wrapped up in that. I feel like other people are doing this to you. But you could have this situation where you have people who are helping you, you know, and then I look at ancient and I think of family, you know, and the family connection. And maybe having some family members. Now, if this is having to do with a relationship, I would say that it's almost like some of you have dealt with like gossiping, people like talking crap about your relationship, but the two of you come to like a common understanding that, you know, we're going to have fairness and balance. We need to start taking action here to get control of our own world instead of getting wrapped up in somebody else's, you know. But I think that you get to a point where you start to feel, you know, more emotionally sound about the situation. Like, this isn't something that you wanted to have to deal with or that you wanted to have happen with people from the past, but the situation is what it is. And now, you know, again, you're moving forward with strength, but you're doing it with grace. Oh, and the outcome, judgment. Ooh, shit. Let me just say that for some of you, if you're dealing with, and I'm just looking at the 3 here, if some of you are dealing with situations involving court proceedings, you're going to have a favorable outcome, for sure, for sure. Now, judgment, on the other hand, seeing this as the outcome is saying that I think most of you did the right thing in reviewing what was happening in the past, you know, and you're making final judgments and final decisions here on moving forward, right? The warning with judgment has always been you have to be careful about the judgment that you're passing on yourself, on other people, on the situation. But you get to a point where I get the sense that you guys you're happy with the decisions that you made. And I do think that this is somebody that may be coming through that is almost like taking your side in this situation and knowing that maybe what was said by others is wrong, but like helping you to place your focus on dealing with the situation in a different way, you know. And I think for some of you, it hasn't been easy to get through, but you're doing it in a very beautiful way. With grace and intelligence and emotional wisdom. But with the sun being your best path to follow, Spirit is basically telling you that you're going to be okay. You know, the sun is shining on you because you are taking the right steps, right? The sun kind of reminds me of, you know, when you do the right thing, the universe will start to support you in the decisions that you make because you're making, you know, very sound decisions here when it comes to dealing with these conflicting situations with the Page of Swords. I still feel like it has to do with, you know, some gossiping, and it may have to do with somebody talking crap about your relationships. But overall, Gemini, this is a powerful and beautiful reading. I mean, look at the majors you're pulling here, but you're doing things in a very beautiful way where you could have been shitty about this situation. It's totally different, totally different. And you come out, I think that you're going to come out feeling better about this situation than what you may have been before. You know, and again, there's like this support happening here with this Queen of Cups. And purpose. There is a reason for everything that happens, right? When we go through situations where we're dealing with people who would rather run their mouths, you know, it gives us an opportunity to deal with the situation differently and learn lessons on like how not to act and how not to be, right? And that's really where teaching by example comes in, teaching yourself too to also act differently in regards to these situations and break free of that crap. Because if you're dealing with these kinds of situations, no matter what you do, these people might not ever learn, but you have the ability to learn how to deal with these situations in a different way. Oh, separation, time apart from your partner is on the horizon. here's the warning. For those of you who are in a relationship and you're dealing with difficulties because of outside influences, if you let it get out of control, there may be a situation where you guys may be looking at a separation. Now, when I see this card, I don't see anything permanent. I just feel like here, again, there's a better way to handle these kinds of situations with grace and intelligence, right? You're going to be all right. It's just that if you allow other people to interfere in your relationship, you may be, causing a separation that may not need to happen for some of you. All right, Gemini, but I think that you guys are headed in the right direction, because if you weren't acting with grace and intelligence, I guarantee you the sun would not have shown up in your best path to follow. You're going to do the right thing, you're going to make the right judgments, and you're going to see fairness and balance in your life. Okay, Gemini, I'm seeing a couple of different situations here, and we're going to break this down. Okay, so now, with the Queen of Cups showing up in future conditions and looking at it the way it lines up with justice and judgment. For some of you, if you're dealing with people who are talking shit about you or are causing problems in your life, be careful about getting emotionally overwhelmed by it, because when you're looking at judgment here, again, the warning is you have to be careful about the judgments that you pass. But here's the thing, though. If that is the case, the sun being your best path to follow is saying that no matter what decision you make in regards to the situation, you're making the right decision. It doesn't matter what you decide here, you're going to be okay. Everything's going to be just fine. But now here's the other part. If you're dealing with people who are talking shit about your relationship, I think the two of you are going to be on common ground here in dealing with this situation. And you are going to be acting better than the other people. The problem is when I see separation from the romance angels and looking at the situation in terms of relationships, you have to be careful about other people causing problems within your relationship because they can't stop running their mouths. And as far as those of you who are single, if you're meeting somebody and you have feelings for them, who gives a shit what anybody has to say about it? Go ahead and express that, right? And again, no matter what happens here, you're going to be just fine. Like seeing the sun, I love it. It's just fine. Now, on the other hand, for some of you who are just dealing with people who would want to talk about you, I think that for some of you, you may have family or friends that are helping to guide you emotionally into this spot where you're reviewing the situation a little bit differently, because overall here, there's going to be some fairness and some balance in this situation. But then, looking at these two, definitely you guys are acting with intelligence and grace. And I love it, because where you could have been shitty about this, you are totally taking a different path here. And it's like you're pulling on some emotional wisdom as well. So definitely, break free of the gossip, the bullshit. If you have people that are surrounding you that are just, flapping their gums, it's not worth listening to, especially if it's going to cause problems within a relationship. And then, teaching by example, and I think that's exactly what you're doing here. When I see teach, I think, what is this person teaching? Well, seeing what you're doing here out of this is much better than how you could have handled this situation. And then purpose, looking at this, I'm telling you that there's a reason why this is happening, and it's for your own growth. And then when you look at that with gratitude, it's like you're grateful for even the small things, and it's shifting you and the way that you act in situations. I like it, Gemini. I like it. And then, when it comes to ancient, I love this card. I love it when it shows up. For some of you, go out and learn about your ancestry. I think it will give you an eye-opening experience into who you are. So I love this card. I love that fell out for you. It's important to have gratitude, and don't listen to people when they're talking shit.